Hello and welcome to another cast. For you today I have a custom 6v6 played on the Roxas map generator. We have Team 1 up in the north, Team 2 down the south, as per usual. And let's introduce our players with the southernmost slot on Team 1. In dark blue we have Isumani Rat. Let me just... Isumani Ratsto or something like that. I think I'll just stick with Isuman or Iso or something like that. Anyway, they are in dark blue, they are playing UEF, opening first land. Then let's move to the northeast. In purple, going Aeon, opening first land, we have Boom King. To the west of that, or northwest, in dark green, going UEF, opening first land, we have Plunder. And to the north of that, in regal purple, going Cypern, opening first land, we have Toka. To the east of that, in Cyan, or Cyan blue, we have Original Angel, going Aeon, opening first land. And last player of the northern team, in lime green, going Seraphim, and opening first land, we have Nomander. Now for Team 2, on their northernmost slot, going UEF, opening first land, we have Dreamer Lazy. Then to the southwest of that, in red, we have second verse SU, here, with SPCR, going Seraphim, opening first land, already moving to the front with that commander. Then to the southeast of that, we have the Smithers in white, going UEF, opening first land. To the south of that, in burgundy red, going Seraphim, opening first land, we have Vasayam, Vasi from now on. Sorry. Because, yeah, not sure how to properly pronounce that. Then to the west of that, in yellow, going Cypern, opening first land, we have Lord of Ashes. And last but not least, to the south of that, also going Cypern, in, well, piss yellow, we have Dimitri, also opening first land. Alright, I have some really bad cough today, so please excuse me if I do mute myself more frequently than usual. Or I'm quiet for some longer periods of time because I need to take a drink or something like that. On that note, remember to stay hydrated, it's important. Anyway, we already have early raiding party coming out from Dreamer Lacy with a single tank and a Snoop. Never mind, that's not supposed to be a raiding party. We also already have a mole right here at the front for Toka to keep an eye on the enemy activity. No, there's currently not much to keep an eye on. Transport out right here for Iso, or Isoman. Dropping off some engineers onto these plateaus right here, and I just saw Bomber, yep. We have a Bomber out for Nomander. Some engineers here have already moved out for Dreamer Lazy to grab those side islands. Ashbird coming out to grab the plateau right here. A special thing you can do if you don't want to build transport. Sometimes if you move the engineer close enough to the cliff edge, you can actually just build a factory on top of the cliff due to the way that rangers work in Subcom. As far as I'm aware, most rangers in Subcom work on a cylindrical basis instead of a circular one or a spherical one. Which is really weird when you think about it, but of course also simpler just for calculation purposes and stuff like that, so makes sense. But anyway, the Bomber did get one engineer, damaging some pigeons right here, but it got shot down before it can kill anything else, so didn't cause too much damage. And the pigeon right here has been rebuilt. Another engineer is probably coming out very soon. Yep, there is already more building. Let's see, we have transport now also out for Smithers, as well as a T1 bomber. Not too sure where the transport is going. Right, I think I dropped some stuff up on this plateau right here. Building a bunch of factories. Now spelling out mech marines that were utilized to take out the factory that was dropped there from, I think, ESO. The bomber did actually get those energies instead of the mech marine. That is on 3 kills now after picking off another one. But already interceptors on top of that, and there it goes. It's already dead. Another transport now coming in from Boom King. Trying to grab that plateau, though that will not work out too well considering the presence of these labs. Well, never mind, that is actually primarily Auroras instead of just engineers. So that will probably be able to deal with the mech marines. Engineer immediately gets started on factory. It is placed a bit unfortunately on top of some reclaim, but that was reclaimed quickly and there goes the factory build now. Okay, let's see, anything else? We do have naval production starting up in the southern pond and the northern pond. Currently 2 finished factories for ESO, without any finished naval units. Down on the southern side, however, we have 4 finished naval factories, with another one on the way for Dimitri, and a finished naval factory for Lord of Ashes. Dimitri already with 3 frigates, one very close to the naval production of Iceman, who is now up to 3 factories, but that is a very bad early disadvantage right there. Now, looking at the northern pond, in the meantime, we have, well, now we have 3 naval factories out for Nomander. Another 2 cute. Second, accidentally zoomed in on the minimap. And we have 2 by the looks of it finished for Dreamer Lazy, who just built a torpedo defense launcher, or a torpedo launcher, to keep some defense in the of their naval production. But Nomander now with 2 frigates, facing off against, by the looks of it, 3 from their opponent, and also a T-bomb bomber coming in. Now those engineers here do look very juicy. Those could probably be collected very easily. Interesting to see that, but there's also some ACU combat going on. As I did just hear an ACU fighting. I don't know where. The actual front lines are very, very stagnant right now. Not much aggression going on right here. Right, those engineers have now gotten in range of one of the frigates, and instead of the bomber killing them, they will just be killed off by this one singular Thunderhead frigate. And I have a really itchy nose right now as well. God damn it. I hate summer, or spring. Or any period with bad pollen and stuff, because allergies. T2 finished for Original Angel, as well as sensors on that ACU. Now building up some Oblivion point defense turrets to, well, to establish the defensive line, I guess. T2 also coming out for Boom King, who, by the looks of it, has actually managed to gain control of the plateau. Well, it's currently still technically contested, but... and they do seem to have the numbers, both in production and just finished units. Though that just suddenly changed due to the presence of that bomber. Killing off some stuff. And that will get a second pass. Well, they no longer do have the advantage in numbers, but... they... also... what the fuck was I talking about? They didn't have the advantage in production. That's a major production disadvantage, actually. I guess I just saw the units and thought, well, must be an advantage in production. Very sorry about spreading misinformation there. Anyway, some engineers right here dropping in for Toka, supporting the Navy in the south. A very good call, since there is also Lord of Ashes for the southern team who is supporting that naval effort, and who has already achieved T2, now building up some destroyers with a, well, full long build queue of a lot of different stuff. Also already with a barracuda out. T2 also finished for Dimitri, who has just built some T2 engines out of that, fair enough. Any T2 out for the northern team's navy yet. Not bad looks of it. If we look on the northern pond, T2 navy has been achieved by Normander, so we will probably see some destroyers coming out there very soon. And also T2 navy achieved by Dreamer Lazy. Though that is currently paused, I suppose they don't have the eco to properly support that at this moment in time. ACU of Original Angel is being pushed back by a land army of Lord of Ashes, surprising as that is on the opposite side of the map right here. And there is some support from Normander's ACU in there, who does have a tactical missile upgrade on that. Nice to see. But a Strat Bomber has finished for Plunder. Haven't seen much of them, but I guess they just went for a T3 air rush, meaning that they didn't get any early, any T1 air. Trying to get an early strat out. Now, problem with that is that Vesey has also achieved T3 air and has built a ASF immediately. However, they did just lose all their T2 power to that one Strat Bomber. So even though that was shot down, definitely still worth it, as with that, the air build-up for Vesey will be significantly delayed. SPCR points out that they need to get TMD, right as we see a missile flying in, killing off a Max. This Max right here also dead, so I suppose also killed, and that was probably... Yep, looks like it was the ACU of Normander with that missile upgrade. Top bombers now utilized in the south by Toka to try and help out with the well, current tech disadvantage. Both Toka and let me just and Isoman actually at T2 Navy now. Really hard time with the names there, I guess. Another strat out for Plunder. That one is taking a bunch of fire from the AA on the frigates though. And interceptors, and gets shot down. And I have a very annoying moth, I think, right here. So, yeah. But yes, now top bombers coming in, getting some fire down. Dropping off the torpedoes, I suspect that those, yep, looks like they are going after the destroyer. Definitely a good call, since that destroyer is an important target. Valiant class destroyers, Valiant and Salem classes now coming out for the northern players, as well as the Bulwark, significantly increasing the HP pool of the northern navy on this, as the UEF special sheet boat being able to tank 5.5k damage. Which in the grand scheme of things isn't too much, but it does still help. And more importantly, sheets have an easier time regenerating than the actual HP pool of ships. But that Salem should get out of there, because that is a lot of Tier 1 Navy that will probably just die due to overwhelming numbers of frigates right here. And that's even with the presence of the T2 for the northern, for the two northern players on this. I don't think they actually have the numbers to properly deal with that, especially since they are facing T2 Navy as well. So the decision of Isoman was probably the right one to just pull back. Now let's take another look at the northern pond. I was going to say let's take a look at the middle, or at land, but there's currently still nothing going on. In the north, we see that Dreamer Lazy has been pushed back significantly by Normander, with that now, with those destroyers now. Well, one destroyer right now. And also a cruiser coming in. Though, well, we might see something coming out over there. No, we don't. Okay. In the south, actual engagement continues on. More top bombers coming in for Toka, though there are now cruisers both for Lord of Ashes and Dimitri, meaning that those top bombers are quickly dispatched off, or quickly dealt with, meaning that those won't be too effective. Well, the destroyers at least now lining up to form a sort of a defensive line against all these frigates. And though for the Navy, for the southern players right here massing on this side, maybe the option to just try and break through right here and make a run for the naval production, maybe that wouldn't be too bad of an idea. Engineers moving forward for Dimitri to get a bunch of factories down. Possibly just to spam out more frigates, maybe also as reclaim factories. A lot more top bombers continue to build up for Toka, who does now have a lot of air factories. Its meantime is also getting up a bunch of T3 Maxes by looks of it. Then let's check the air grid of the actual air player Plunder, currently with one air factory, the HQ, building a second and, well, now building a second and a third at the same time. Let's look at the air grid for Versi. They do have 3 air factories right now, 1 at T1, 2 at T3, if you count the HQ. Which you probably should because, well, it's still a factory. Also, I could swear the HQ had more build power than the normal factory, but maybe that was changed or I was just always mistaken. Both very much possible. Naval combat continues, and the players of the northern team managed to, well, they managed to gain some ground, forcing back the navy of Dimitri. Well, primarily Dimitri. But that naval push is now quickly losing steam and thus forced back. Yeah, I guess I was mistaken, since they do seem to have the same amount of build power, HQs and support factories. Yeah, HQs only seem to have more HP, which makes sense. More top bombers coming in, trying to go after the Siren class cruiser, I think. No, actually going after the destroyer. Probably wrong play as, well, the mine cruiser is dead, so works out. Small air response out from Versi. So that is definitely something to be aware of. And those top bombers do go out. More coming in, but, well, there is still a lot of navy, and even though Salem AA on its own isn't that great with this amount of Salems, it will definitely do the job. As you can see, that HP pool on the top bomber just vanishing. Now, in the northern pond, we do now have governors out for Dreamer Lazy, as well as a bunch of Valiants. And we do have one Ithalua cruiser out for Normander, firing down onto the plateau base of Smithers. Has now started building up some buskills in response to that. Actually with some Sparkies up here. Nice to see. I don't think Sparkies are used as much as they should be. They can be very useful for sure. But push in the south continues on. Again, more top bombers, and also now major naval presence out from Iseman. Trying to go after the push. But I think they are still down on destroyer numbers, other than the fact that the Valiant doesn't fare too well when facing off against Salems, due to the higher range of Salems, and, well, not sure if it's also higher DPS, but it's generally just the fact that Salems have such incredibly high range that already makes them very, very potent destroyers. though with that they should ideally be kept at range and also facing in a way that they can actually hit their enemy, because like a lot of Cyprian ships, they only have a cannon right on the bow that cannot turn backwards due to the superstructure on the ship. If you look at that, same on the Tridents. So they need to be facing the enemy in some way. But yes, it looks like Dimitri is pushing back now. There is a bunch of T1 subs out from Izuman, but well, T1 subs don't do too well against destroyers. Destroyers will just completely annihilate submarines. The factory that was built up right here, I think, yeah, that looks like it was supposed to be a reclaim factory, also goes down to the Salems now. And with that, Izuman is once again forced back. Now, sword going on in the middle. There's a obsidian push coming out from Original Angel. There's mostly just some FAMs here, however there's also the gun AC of SPCR and some T2 defenses right here. And also a tactical missile launcher. It has a missile loaded. Is it firing? Yes. Where's it flying? Where's it flying? It seems to be trying to snipe looks like it's attempting to snipe something of Boom King, who is being pushed by a bunch of bricks and has nothing really to counter that. I do see some obsidians, some auroras, and a few T1 bombers. But look at if we look at this, they have just started their upgrade on T3 or onto T3. I guess after seeing the push of bricks. But also, I think they only have one factory that can actually build T2 units. Well, they have one on the plateau, but that won't save them against that push. Well, that is interesting, as usually you would see a lot more factories being built in order to spam out more units. And, well, they are at 99 eco, so they can definitely support more than one factory. What are they doing with their mass? Well, by the looks of it, nothing. That's definitely unfortunate. Would love to see them building up just a bunch more factories right now to spam out something to try and counter these bricks. Maybe they will as soon as they reach T3, but not too sure about that. The tactical missile launcher now firing into another direction, since I'm pretty sure it just couldn't get damage right here since there was TMD. Now there is a brick right here, so that I think that has taken out the TMD, but a little too late. However, that could probably just break through and kill off some maxes as well, so would be nice to see that actually being microed or utilized instead of just standing around idly. On ridge lane up here we have demolishers now being built up, just pouring down some long range fire into a firebase, or into the firebase of Original Angel. The problem with demolishers is that they are very annoying to defend against. At least if you don't have anything that outranges them. But we do have something that outranges them in the water for Nomander, a battleship. A Hawthorne Seraphim battleship. Mid-level range for battleships with some decent firepower, looking at those 3 singular guns and a decent reload. Well, when it comes to reload, it's not quite Aeon level, and range-wise of course not quite Summit level, but it still does the trick. It's still a battleship. And I think still tankier than the Cyprian one. On the note of Cyprian battleships, a Galaxy-class battleship has been finished for Dimitri, and yes, it does have less HP. Though I think the Cyprian one has the most HP per mass used or something like that. So basically, it's by far the cheapest and does a low HP pool does work out. It can more easily be spammed. But with the rise of battleships in the southern pond, the northern team will need something to answer that. Especially since they were already behind on the T2 naval game. They do need to get something back. More naval factories have been built up. But what I have to notice is that okay, this T2 factory is actually building T1, that's nice. Because you generally also want to be building some T1 units just as basically chaff on your navy, just some frigates, to soak up damage, bolster your numbers, and have something that can just get in close and deal with hover stuff like that. Airfight that I would have nearly missed, going on top of that navy. Not really the ideal space, because since there are cruisers for both sides, actually. So I guess it is somewhat balanced here. But it looks like that one was a win for Plunder. Okay, cruiser for... I think that was a lot of ashes that cruiser goes down. Battleship taking a lot of fire, but there's already a second one coming in. And of course next one already... well, two more already under construction. That's not looking too great for the northern team on this. If we look at the northern pond now for a second, we do have Yevsaus being built up by Nomander. Yevsau being a special ship that only the Seraphim get access to, as the Seraphim don't get a submarine on T2 or anything equivalent to that. They do get access to a T3 submarine hunter instead of a nuclear submarine or strategic missile submarine or whatever it's called. That function has just merged into the battleship. And well, the Yavsau has some extremely high range and high damage torpedoes. Though DPS wise, if that wasn't changed, it is technically lower than any other submarine in the game, but just the high range already makes it viable. And also, if you surface them, as you can see, they have they get AA guns, which are actually really, really good. Like, Yassos actually have amazing AA. Apparently there's a GC on the field, and yes, there's. Original Angel has put a GC. Starting to push in. I don't see counter experimental right now. That could be interesting. However, what I do see is another prick push coming out from Lord of Ashes, this time penetrating into the base of Iseman. There are some gunships out from Nomander to keep that covered, but that is a lot of maxes lost right here, and there is already a Titan push moving up behind that, out from Smithers as well now. Not a good look. We do have singular Harbingers now out for Boom King, but well, those won't cut it against this amount of Titans and bricks on the field. There definitely needs to be more land production out from Boom King. I don't think I actually have their factory on repeat build, interestingly enough. Something that you should usually do, put your factory onto repeat build so that you don't have to keep track of it. And that's just shitting out units over the entirety of the game as well. This subcom is, well, you do tend to see a lot of macro, especially on singular units. Overall, it's still more of a macro game, meaning that you want as many units as possible for massive pushes. And, well, yeah, it's just easier to get that mass if you just have your stuff on repeat build. Now, put a combined Yavso, Destroyer and Battleship push coming out from Nomander. And, well, that is dealing some damage, and I hear a chicken. Right here, I completely missed, there was a chicken for SPCR. That's about to take out the GC. GC not getting too much value, pulling back. Probably the worst thing it could do, as, well, there was no chance of it surviving that. And when a GC pulls back, or retreats, it cannot fire as the angle on that laser eye that you can see right here is not 360, it's rather restrictive actually. you need to be facing the enemy. Now we also have a Fat Boy out for Smithers. And with that GC will also go down. Most likely. Again, you need to keep in mind, if you can't get units out of there, or if the likelihood of them surviving is very, very low, don't bother getting them out of there. Just try to get as much damage done with them as you can. Especially with units like GCs. Same also with basically anything that can't fire backwards. On experimentals like the Megalith. Don't pull out of there if you won't survive. Don't even try to retreat when it doesn't look like you can actually pull out of there. Just keep it in there and get as much damage done as you can. Now, big wave of drop bombers coming in from Plunder, helping out in the south pond, and would you look at that, a massive row of, well, production yachts have been built up by Dimitri. Just spamming out frigates to win the naval game, I guess. There is now a counter push, or not really a counter push, but generally just a push now out from Izuman, trying to deal with that, as well as the top bombers, just, well, topping those naval factories to death. But that will take some time. However, it seems like it's very, very successful. I think we might see a big airfight soon again, as there are the ASF for Bercy posturing right here, with the ASF of Plunder in the area. In the north, we do see the naval push of Nomander continuing on, now against a bunch of summits. Though, well, okay, to be fair, those summits are not capped at the maximum range, so they can actually be hit by the battleships of Nomander. And the smaller navy of destroyers has moved in, so yes. Those are definitely under threat now. And a nuke. That's coming out from up here, out of the base of Toka, who has actually built a nuke launcher. Big aggro now out for Plunder. While that is flying, let's take a short look at the development of the bases. Well, now GC moving up for Original Angel. But we do see a major land push now out from both SPCR and Smithers. And looks like that nuke is going after Dimitri, I think. Possibly, yeah, I think the naval production. Most notably, of course, at the HQ right here, allowing the production of T3 ships. If that goes down, then Dimitri will temporarily no longer be able to build any or start any new T3 ships being built, or well, anything higher than T1 actually. Though they have immediately been gifted the T2 Naval HQ of their teammate Lord of Ashes, to allow them to continue building at least T2 Navy. But yes, they cannot start any new T3 Navy. Lord of Ashes actually goes for a control K. Their issue was apparently right here in the water. Not sure why, maybe they had to go or something like that. But with that, everything except, of course, the naval production right here has been gifted over to Dreamer Lazy, as this is played on full share. A counter push has started for Dreamer Lazy, gaining ground against Nomander now, very slowly and slightly. In the meantime, in the south, we do see Salem's now breaking a lot of the remaining naval production, or well, remaining T1 naval production of Dimitri. However, with the battleships in the area, there's definitely more needed. We do now see a bunch of summits also building up for Izuman, but well, 3 summits will... I'm not actually sure, I think 3 summits might actually win against 3 Galaxy-class battleships, just due to higher range and higher HP pool. But and just the high alpha, but the one thing with the summit is that it actually has some pretty abysmal reload, making up for the giant, the giant salvos it fires. Do see the summit's also, of course, utilized up in the northern pond by Dreamer Lazy. And, well, there was an attempted sniping of some ambassadors built up by Plunder through the ASF forces of Smithers. Apparently, yep, Smithers now also with T3 air. Doing some T3 air. And still with that fat boy. Wait, no, I think that's a new fat boy. Is it? Yes, the old one died right here. To a land push out from Boom King, I suppose. Who is moving in to support the GC of Original Angel. That seems like. Now with some decent T3 land production. Nice. There are again not ASF, strike bombers for Plunder pulling back after some ASF posturing out from Mercy, so I suspect there was a snipe attempted, but immediately discouraged by the presence of ASF. I feel like in order to avoid actually, to actually enable the possibility of a air snipe, there needs to be a proper air fight and air wipe by Plunder. Just gaining full air control. And while that is a topic, let's just make a short ASF count. We're looking at 204 fuel ASF for Plunder. The 7 out of fuel won't be too important for this, as they tend to not do well in air engages. Against around 280 out for Vasi. Right, so significant air advantage for Vasi right now. However, that is still in a margin that can be balanced, or that can be, changed just by better air turns. Not easily. For that, Plunder needs to be doing some really, really good air turns, and Vasi some, mediocre to bad air turns. But that is still manageable in a good air fight. Ideal case would probably be fighting over friendly navy or something like that for the anti-air support. In the north, mass top bombers utilized by Dreamer Lazy to try and deal with the navy of Nomander, who now has a aircraft carrier on the field. That aircraft carrier happily just throwing some missiles into the navy of Dreamer Lazy, as the Seraphim aircraft carrier gets access to cruise missiles. Basically just being sort of a super cruiser with just, extremely good AA as an aircraft carrier and the missiles. The two major things that make up, or that are the most important traits of the aircraft of cruisers, at least for Seraphim. But there are now a bunch of top bombers coming in trying to deal with that. ASF force for Plunder comes in, takes us out. A nuke was launched, but by the looks of it, that did not land. I think I saw the ping just from the corner of my eye somewhere in this area. But yeah, would look at that SMD right here, it shot something down, so that worked out. That defended. Now I think maybe it will probably be won by the northern team and the southern pond, by Team 1, as they have now forced Dimitri back a significant amount. Gaining, gaining a lot of ground. And Plunder apparently bowed out. I think that looks like a control K, honestly. Giving all of that stuff over to Toka. But yes, that is a large amount of battleships right here, out from Verzi. Not Verzi, ISO, or Isoman. With another one already coming in. And that will definitely be a big issue to deal with for Dmitry. As they are down to 3 battleships now on the front. Well, okay, 4 battleships, another one just finished. But the HQ is also very close to the front line. That's not something you would you want to have, since, as already pointed out, as soon as you lose your HQ, you are no longer able to start the construction of new units of that kind over the tier of 1, or over tier 1. Which, generally, bad thing. Now, another land push out from Smithers, and, well, no, it's a combined land push actually from Smithers, Dmitry, and by the looks of it also SPCR for a moment. Counting 2 chickens, a megalith, and a fat boy. The fat boy without sheet for a moment, but that has just recharged. And we do have 3 GCs to defend, as well as a sizable bank of artillery. Those miasmas actually have range to or is that stuff actually outside the minimum range? And yes, it is. I think those are currently targeting down the megalith, which is not a bad call. Again, the GC is pulling back, showing the back to the enemies. The one thing I already pointed out that you want to avoid: big wave of strat bombers comes in, tries to take out the megalith, but taking a lot of fire from T3 and T2AA. A lot of those just dying. Not a nuke launched. Where's that going? I think that is going after Dimitri's stuff again. Possibly after the HQ right here. But we do have SMD right here, which is not loaded. Okay, never mind. Push continues, GCs all down. The fact that they did turn back properly, not helpful, but, well, all I can point out is, if you can avoid it, and unless you know for sure that you can get your stuff out, don't retreat, stuff like that, because that way it won't be able to fire back. It won't get the ability to actually cause damage in return. And a lot of subcom, due to its macro scale, is basically just considering how much damage can I do for how much mass spent. So you generally want to maximize that. Few supporting units coming in from Boom King, but a little too late, not making any difference. Bunch of strats once again, go after the megalith without success. That is still alive, and those miasmas are about to go down. We do see no maxes out from Smithers. I think that is currently only 1. Never mind, it's 3. Oh yeah, there are 2 Novaxes over the base of Iceman. Northern Pond also, or Nova Navy, also not looking too great anymore, as since Normandy has been pushed back significantly now. Also only down to 3 battleships now, against a group of, well, 3, 6, 8 battleships out from Malaysia. So it's, well, it's not even a 2-to-1 situation right now in favor of Malaysia. It's even worse. Three to 8 is pretty horrible. Now, I mean, at least the Southern Navy is looking similar in a mirrored way, meaning that Iceman is actually winning there now. We do actually see some Wagners now being utilized, which are surprisingly successful, I think, as there's nothing with torpedoes in the area. to deal with those. Well, there are some reclaim engineers that might just start reclaiming those, and yes, they are. And I don't think that's even micro. Those are yeah, those are just on an attack move to reclaim the navy, or well, the naval reclaim. Important thing as if you look at this, navy leaves a lot of reclaim, especially on the on tech 3, as navy tends to be rather expensive. So yes, collecting that is rather important. Now, what do we see here? We do have a Atlantis out as well for Malaysia. And, well, we do have a few Wolfus, but those won't be too great. A Wasa out from Nomander. Getting some damage down into the Megalith, as well as some Corsairs doing the same. But overall, I don't think it's looking hot. It's looking too hot for the Northern team right now. A major push of Authams out from SPCR against Boom King, and that seems to be just breaking through. A nuke coming out, this time from the Southern team, and would you look at that, I completely missed that. That is a Yolana Oz. The Seraphim Game Ender, and it is going after the base of Boom King. Was not checking bases, let's just check if we do have any counter standoff tech. Well, we do obviously have the nuke up here for Toka. We do have AT3RT. And we have a Novak started. Nothing is a game, nothing of that is a game ender. Emissary started for Original Angel. Also, not a game ender. And I think that is that. Yikes. Do they have that scouted? They don't even know that there is anything here. Well, I recommend scouting. There needs to be some scouting happening. Especially considering the and I don't think there are many excuses considering the fact that there are 2 Aeons, well, possibly now only one since Boom King is moving into that Yolana explosion. That can just build Eye of Rare. Yep, there goes the ACU of Boom King. But yes, with the presence of Aeons on the team, they could just build an Eye of Rare and thus provide basically safe and free scouting for the team. Now we do have some fire coming in from those arties. Wait, is that? No, that's nuke that's flying, okay. But yes, a special trick of the Yolanas. The super nuke, it can only hold 1 missile in the launcher. Basically just 1 missile in the chamber. However, other than the fact that it flies faster than a normal nuke, loads significantly faster than a normal nuke. It also, as you already saw, massive, well, wormhole basically just causing massive amounts of damage. I think the inner damage ring does something like 1,000,000 damage or some ridiculous number like that. You're not surviving that, though it's not immediately. In addition to all of that, it also takes 2 SMD missiles to be shot down. Yes, the Yolana Oz is very strong, it is a game ender, for good reason. Anyway, that did land, almost killed off the Disruptor up here for Toka. I think there's also artillery firing into that, so I think I just saw an artillery shell impacting. So someone must have built T3 out in the Southern team as well. And yes, there's a Duke out from Malaysia. Commander goes for the control, okay, at this point, fair enough. Nuke lands in the base of Original Angel, who did evacuate in time, I think. But will lose their entire base. There that goes. Now, with the YOLO seeming that powerful, it is actually still possible to defend against it. I think you need something like 5 SMDs, if the YOLO is not assisted, to win, or to survive, to permanently defend against a YOLO house. Though you can't stall that. Massive airfight did go on, that was easily won by Vasi by looks of it. Another YOLO new clans, this time a bit closer to Toka's main base. And the Disruptors. Second one was actually built, but I don't think that will actually be able to align properly before it dies. The ECU of Toka does go down to the explosion, and there also goes the Disruptor. Only leaving Isuma right here in the corner. Toka apparently blaming that loss on the front players. And while front did end up collapsing, yes, and well, Boom King did definitely take some time to, let's say, wake up properly, to actually have an impact. I think one of the major things that might have lost this game was just lack of scouting and not realizing the fact that there was a game ender underway. Because if you see a Yolana's building, you can defend against it. You can prepare for it. Now, Navy in the north has completely collapsed, unsurprisingly. I mean, so is Navy in the south. For the other side. But yes, this game is basically over. I don't think Iceman has any chance to get back from this. They are also significantly out-ecoed right now. And, well, yeah, I think they are down on map control. There's not a nuke flying in. Can't tell where that is going, but probably not after the ACU. I think I just saw it correctly, I think. Yeah, Toka and Original Angel, or Toka is just blaming Boom King for this. Let me put it like that. A singular player playing poorly generally does not lose you a game. It makes it significantly harder, yes. However, there was still a point where it could have been won by either side. And there are actually nuke subs in the water for Iserman, though I don't think they will actually load. As already said, I think one of the problems, or one of the causes to for this game to actually be lost in the end, was truly just the fact that they were not aware of the Yolonas, as that did actually just end the game. It just collapsed everything that Team 1 had. And that was not down to just one player being very passive throughout the game. That is just down to a serious lack of scouting. Which is basically, it is primarily the fault of the respective air players, to a slightly lesser degree the fault of the Aeon players, and to an even lesser degree the fault of basically everyone on the team. But there we have the control K of Iserman, and there it goes. We do have a desync at the end, but of course, game is already over, does not matter. Right, I hope you still enjoyed this game. If you did, leave a like. Maybe check out the other casts on the channel, and if you want to be notified when more of these do come out, you can always subscribe. Yeah, I think that's all of that out of the way. Right, this was streamed live on Twitch, link to that will be, as per always, down below in the description. Yeah, with that, hope you enjoyed. Gonna be back with a future cast, possibly also some other content at some point in time. And till then, bye!